It started like any other day on the Storage Wars set. Quick bids, loud arguments, and lots of junk. But for Brandy Passante, this auction felt different. Something about one particular storage unit got her attention. To everyone else it looked worthless. To her, it looked good. And when what was inside finally came out, the entire cast knew they just saw history being made. Inside that dusty storage locker was a collection so rare, so valuable that it made the shows. Experts rushed to check the numbers. The final total, an incredible $1.2 million. But before we get into that, let's go back to where it all began. Born in 1980, in Harris County, Texas, Brandy Passante grew up surrounded by brothers who, as she's openly shared, loved to beat the crap out of her. It might sound mean, but Brandy actually says that crazy childhood helped make her tough. In an interview with Lifetime, she laughed about how all that rough playing was the perfect practice for the male-dominated world she'd later take over on Storage Wars. To prove her point, she even once shared a childhood photo on X back when it was still called Twitter, showing herself with a black eye. For her, it was more than just a story. It was proof that being tough wasn't a choice. It was survival. She said it herself in her line of work. If the guys see weakness, they'll walk all over you. So, Brandy learned early to stand her ground. But her life before reality TV was a whole different story. During an episode of the Spirit Talk podcast, she described her childhood as crazy, explaining that she often felt like an outsider, even in her own family. She said she used to wonder if she'd been adopted because she just didn't feel like she fit in. Well, many people accept how things are. Brandy never could. Even as a kid, she felt there was something more out there, waiting for her. Long before Storage Wars made her a household name, Brandy had dreams that looked very different. Growing up in Houston, she actually wanted to become a chef. And despite her sharp, confident personality on screen, she's admitted that she's naturally quite shy. In an interview with My Lifetime, she laughed about how that shyness used to show up when she was little. Her defense trick was to give people dirty looks rather than talk to them. That mix of toughness and sensitivity carried into her early years. In a video on her Facebook page, Brandy shared that she played softball for 9 years, showing that competitive streak that would later come in handy on storage lots. Her childhood, crazy, boy-filled, and rough around the edges, gave her the toughness she needed to do well in an industry full of strong personalities. Before fame came calling, Brandy was just another young woman trying to make a living. In 1999, she was working at a carpet cleaning company, where she met her future partner, Jarrod Schulz. He happened to be her boss and, according to Brandy, he was persistent. Really persistent. She told the Philippine Daily Inquirer that Jarrod wore her down. Jarrod, of course, tells a very different version of the story. In a Facebook Live session, he joked that Brandy was the one doing the chasing, claiming she pretty much stalked him after she got hired. He admitted that dating an employee wasn't exactly the smartest move, even saying a friend had to leave notes on his truck, reminding him to treat her kindly, because he could be a bit rough around the edges. Jarrod often laughed about the mismatch, saying he wasn't exactly winning her over with his looks, so he relied on humor and persistence. But Brandy's side of the story flips that completely. She said that Jarrod was the one constantly hitting on her and that it was more embarrassing than romantic at first. Still, persistence paid off. By all accounts, their start was a tug-of-war of personalities, his stubborn charm meeting her quiet strength. But in the end, whatever version of the story you believe, one thing's clear. It worked. Brandy and Jarrod became a couple, and from there, their journey took off faster than either of them could have predicted. Now, Brandy and Jarrod might never have gotten married, but they built a family together, raising 2 children, their son Cameron and daughter Payton. For the most part, they've kept their kids out of the spotlight, though Brandy has shared pieces of their family's journey, especially the health challenges they've faced over the years. During her appearance on the Dad Diary podcast, Brandy opened up about Payton's difficult start in life. When Payton was born, she was both deaf and had a cleft palate. At just 6 weeks old, she had her first surgery, one that thankfully gave her back her hearing. The experience left Payton with a mild speech delay, so she spent years in speech therapy. Brandy explained that joining her school's cheerleading squad later on did wonders, not just for her speech, but for her confidence, too. Cameron faced his own health scare during a regular checkup for a urological condition. Doctors found a mass on his kidney. It led to months of watching before his symptoms got worse, forcing a long hospital stay. Brandy remembered spending 3 months with him at the Children's Hospital of Orange County. 3 months that took him away from high school, but showed his strength. As much as Brandy loved being a mother, she quickly realized that staying home full-time wasn't for her. In an interview with My Lifetime, she admitted that while she loved her kids, the experience left her feeling alone and unhappy. She believed that working actually made her a better parent. Jarrod, meanwhile, moved into the mortgage industry as Brandy focused on raising their children. But when the late 2000s recession hit, everything changed. He suddenly found himself out of work and without unemployment benefits. As he later told the Orange County Register, finding a new job wasn't easy. Then came an unexpected lifeline. Jarrod's aunt, who managed a storage facility. She told him about the auctions held for unpaid units, sparking an idea. Soon Jarrod and Brandy began going to those auctions, bidding on lockers, and reselling whatever valuable items they found. Before long, their house was overflowing with finds. Brandy even joked that they were one step away from ending up on hoarders. That's when they decided to turn the chaos into something productive, opening their own thrift shop called Now and Then. When the shop first opened, Brandy worked part-time, splitting her time between the store, her kids' classrooms, and home life. Business started picking up, and the couple kept going to auctions, a decision that would change everything. One day, during an auction, Jarrod struck up a conversation with a TV producer who was working on a new show idea about the world of storage auctions. Months later, that same producer called and showed up at their store with a camera crew. Brandy happened to be there that day and immediately caught their attention. According to Jarrod, the producer asked who she was and whether she'd be comfortable appearing on camera. That bit of footage became part of a pilot for a new show called Storage Wars. The time, neither of them had any idea just how big it would become. Brandy later told the Saline Courier that they didn't think much of it, agreeing to film a few minutes just for fun. But that simple decision opened the door to reality TV fame. Their natural chemistry and constant back and forth made them perfect for TV. On the show, they earned the nickname Young Guns, a duo known for their fiery energy and friendly rivalry. Brandy quickly became the voice of reason, balancing out Jarrod's habit of overspending and chasing risky deals. Fans loved their dynamic, the quick comebacks, the playful arguments, and the way their personalities clashed yet somehow clicked. It didn't take long for them to become fan favorites, especially after one unforgettable early win. In Season 1, they took a big risk, outbidding another buyer and dropping $1,700 on a locker. When they opened it up, they struck gold, a treasure of vintage toys and collectible action figures worth nearly $12,800. It was the kind of score every bidder dreams of. But behind all that excitement, cracks began to form in the storage wars. Empire cast member Dave Hester started questioning how real the show actually was. By 2012, his concerns turned into a full-blown lawsuit against A&E and the production company Original Productions. Hester claimed the producers were manipulating outcomes, saying they'd salt lockers by planting valuable items to make the finds look more dramatic. He even pointed to specific moments like when he supposedly found old newspapers announcing Elvis Presley's death or a BMW mini car hidden under trash. Discoveries he believed were too good to be true. In his lawsuit, Hester said that the show wasn't just tweaked, it was completely fake. He accused the producers of scripting cast interviews, staging auctions, and even paying for lockers when stars couldn't afford them. And if that wasn't enough, he claimed, producers went as far as paying for a female cast member's plastic surgery to make her look better on screen. Tabloids quickly connected that accusation to Brandy Passante, pointing out her weight loss and wardrobe changes between seasons. Brandy, however, shut those rumors down. When a fan asked if her breasts were fake, she bluntly replied, "No, jackass," and left it at that. She's also dismissed weird internet rumors about her being an exotic dancer or having 2 fingers, laughing off the wild side of reality TV fame. As for the show's realness, Brandy has been clear. Storage Wars is real. She explained that since storage auctions are public, messing with them would be illegal. The only thing that's staged, she said, is the editing. The show focuses on the exciting lockers, not the boring ones. As she put it, not every unit is a jackpot, but that's just how the business works. Still, Hester's claims cast a long shadow. A&E wasn't exactly happy to be accused of faking its biggest hit. At the time, Storage Wars was pulling in millions of viewers, second only to Duck Dynasty. In response, the network fired Hester and refused to comment on the lawsuit publicly, at least at first. When they finally did, they stood by the show, insisting there was no staging involved, and that all items were real. Yet, in a twist, A&E's legal defense told a slightly different story. Instead of denying everything outright, they leaned on the First Amendment, arguing that producers had creative freedom to shape the show however they saw fit. Their lawyers even pointed out that only game shows are legally required to be 100% real. Storage Wars, they said, wasn't one of them. Tom Beers, the show's creator, later admitted they do script about half of what viewers hear and occasionally combine the best finds from multiple lockers to keep things entertaining. After all, nobody wants to watch hours of people digging through piles of junk. The goal was to make good television, not a documentary. Eventually, the case found an uneasy middle ground. A judge threw out some of Hester's claims, but allowed his wrongful termination suit to continue. He was asking for $750,000 in damages, saying he was fired for speaking up. A&E pushed back, arguing the show's creative choices were protected by free speech laws. In the end, both sides settled, and surprisingly, there didn't seem to be any bad blood. The deal even opened the door for Dave Hester's return to the show. But little did fans know the courtroom drama was nothing compared to what was coming next. In the fall of 2012, Brandy's world flipped upside down. Overnight, explicit photos and a video of a woman who looked just like her started spreading across an adult website. The problem? It wasn't her, but the person running the site didn't care. They claimed the woman in the video was the star of Storage Wars. The chaos traced back to a name the internet knew all too well: Hunter Moore. In the early 2010s, Moore's website Is Anyone Up? Was